Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Choreochaos. This week we are talking about our favorite urban legends, myths, fairy tales, what have you. We are talking about these tall tales and just crazy stories that people have come up with throughout human history. So let's go! I have 4 stories that I want to share with you today. The first of which is the story of El Dorado. When the Spanish first started exploring Central America, the native people told them of this great city made entirely out of gold. And of course, the Spanish wanted to get their hands on all of this wealth and send it back to the king. The Spanish spent ages searching for this place, but no one could ever find it. Then that's because it wasn't real. I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation of this tribe name, but when the Muisca people got a new chieftain, they covered him in gold dust. And when the Spanish heard about this ceremony, they thought, oh, golden man comes from a golden city, because that's logical, right? So basically the Spanish were like, whoa, where's this golden city that the golden man comes from? And the native people go, oh, it's over there, past those tall mountains that are really far away from us. Basically, the Spanish willed this golden city into existence in their own heads, even though there wasn't really such a thing. And the native people were like, oh, this is an easy way to, get them away from us. So they encouraged the story. The Golden City has remained a really popular topic in pop culture for a long time, most notably the DreamWorks film The Road to El Dorado, which is freaking amazing! I love that movie, and that's kind of what sparked my interest in El Dorado in the first place. The next story I want to tell y'all is called The Guardian of Yosemite. I went to Yosemite a few times as a kid because I grew up in California, and that's what you do. You go see Yosemite because it's gorgeous there. Got a little older, I started researching some about Yosemite and the native peoples there, and it's just so interesting, all the things that surround that national park. And this story is my favorite. I'm probably also going to butcher this tribe name, but it is a story from the Myoek tribe. I feel really bad that I don't know how to pronounce these things. Tutakanula was a wise chief, but he fell in love with this woman's spirit that was guarding Yosemite, and he left his people, and when he left them without his guidance, the valley fell into total ruin. It was just completely destroyed. So everyone left to go find a new place to live, where there was good stuff going on. Now, when the spirit found out that, hey, all my people are gone and my beautiful valley is a piece of crap now, obviously she was pretty upset. So she cried out to the Great Spirit and asked him to undo this great injustice and to restore the land to the beauty that it had once had. Upon hearing her request, the Great Spirit took pity on the people, and he came down and he fixed Yosemite Valley and turned it beautiful again. When the Great Spirit was done fixing the valley, he went to this rock and struck a blow in it, leaving a pathway for melting snow to fall through. All the people came back and it was beautiful and wonderful and everything was great. But Tutukanola, when he came back upon hearing that everything was fixed and everything was great again, he came back and he tried to find the spirit, and he's just crying out and he can't find her, and he just falls at the foot of this falls that the Great Spirit made, and then the woman spirit comes to him and goes, ah, I'm here, everything's okay, and they go into each other's arms, and it's a wonderful, happy, glorious moment, and then the two of them go up into the clouds together, and they create this double rainbow over the falls that the Great Spirit made, which is the Bridal Veil Falls. Basically, it's just the story of how one of the most famous waterfalls in the park came to be, and I think it's really beautiful, and I've told it terribly, but I think it's a wonderful story. And now I have one of Aesop's fables for you, The Goose That Laid the Golden Egg. Nowadays, most people associate geese that lay golden eggs with Willy Wonka, but the original stories go something along the lines of, you have this goose and it lays a golden egg, and the farmer, in its greed, decides, oh hey, there must be something in there that's making all this gold that the goose is laying, and so he kills the goose, and of course when he opens it up it's just a regular goose, and so he has now killed the thing that was giving him the gold. So it's basically just about greed and don't look a gift horse in the mouth, that whole sort of thing. Basically, don't be dumb. And finally, courtesy of the infamous Brothers Grimm, we have Rumpelstiltskin. This one I love just because Rumpelstiltskin is just, he's just so crazy and weird, and I think it's fabulous. So in this story, you have a miller who has a daughter, and the miller tells the king, hey, my daughter can spin straw into gold, which obviously no normal person can do. The king says, "Aha! If you can spin a room full of gold for me, I will marry you, or else I will cut off your head." So of course the girl goes, and she's locked in a room, and she's meant to fill the room with gold thread by the next morning. And this isn't gonna work at all, is it? No, of course it's not. Fortunately for the girl, just when she's given up all hope, locked in this dreary room where she has to spin straw into gold thread, which is ridiculous and impossible, and who could possibly do that? No one, that's who. But this imp appears, and he says, "You know what? If you give me something, I can do this for you. I can work this out for you. No big thing." And so she's like, "Okay, well, what do you want?" He says, "Give me that necklace, yo." So she gives him the necklace, and he spins the straw into gold thread, and everything is good. And of course, the next day, the king says, "Oh, this is great. Let's put you in a bigger room. Make sure you can still do it. You know, you're not faking it or anything. We'll put you in a bigger room. I need you to spin more straw into more thread than you did last night. It'll be good." And so again, the imp appears, and he's like, "Yo, I'm here to help you out. Gimme, gimme." And so she gives him her ring, and he does the same thing, spinning more straw into more gold thread than he did the previous night. Then on the third night, the king's like, "All right, last night, biggest room of all. If you can do this, I'm gonna marry you. And if you can't, I'm gonna cut off your head." Yeah, that's still a thing. However, the girl is out of things to give the imp when he comes again this third night, and so the imp's like, "You know what, I'll cut you a deal. It's okay. Just give me your firstborn kid, and I'll do that. I'll do this for you." And so she goes, okay. So the imp does it again with the promise that he'll get her firstborn child, and everything's great. The king marries the daughter, and everything's great for a while. However, the time comes when the king and the girl have their first child, and the imp's like, "Hey, payment, gimme, gimme. I need that. You promised." And the girl's like, "No, I don't want to give you my baby. I'll give you anything else, unimaginable riches, but not my baby." He's insisting upon the kid, but he says, "You know what? I'll give you another chance. If you can guess my name in 3 days, you can keep your kid." First 2 days, she's unable to guess his name, and who can blame her when the imp's name is something like Rumpelstiltskin? But then she sends a messenger to go watch him, and he's dancing around his fire, and he's singing, and he says his name. And so he goes and he tells the queen, "Hey, this is his name." And so when he comes back for the third time and says, "What's my name?" she's like, "Rumpelstiltskin, that's what's up. I get to keep my kid." As for the end of the story, there's a couple ways that it finishes. In the original Brothers Grimm story, Rumpelstiltskin ran away angry and never came back. Basically, he threw a temper tantrum. In a later edition of the Brothers Grimm version, he ended up like taking his leg and tearing himself in two, which is a bit more gruesome. And in yet other versions, Rumpelstiltskin drove his foot so far into the ground that he creates a huge gaping chasm and he falls into it, never to be seen again. But no matter how he ran away or died or committed suicide or whatever, the fact remains that Rumpelstiltskin is a crazy mofo, and I think he's hilarious and awesome. So yeah, those are my favorite fairy tales and folklores and myths, what have you. Leave us comments about your favorite weird, crazy stories that people have come up with over the years, because I personally love hearing new ones. I have a habit, I will sometimes like just go look up fairy tales like on Wikipedia and just like read things from different places around the world, because it's just so interesting to see the same kind of morals and whatever told in vastly different ways in different places. And that's about it. Emily, I will see you on Wednesday. Rumpelstiltskin. Rumpelstiltskin. How do you pronounce that? I can't pronounce anything.